Hi Sharks, it's Miss Metz again. I'm here to bring you one last story. This is my favorite story in the absolute whole wide world, and I recently found out that Mr. Fiore says that it's his favorite story in the whole wide world. I would just like to point out that I have at least 3 copies of this book. Bring it, Fiore. Do you have that many?
I award Gryffindor House 60 points.
In any event, I wanted to go ahead and read this story to all of my shark fans today. And the story is called The Monster at the End of This Book, starring lovable furry old Grover. And he says, "Hello, everybody!"
Well, hello. Well played, Miss Metz. The Monster at the End of the Book is one of my favorite books from childhood. And I do not have 3 print versions. I have my original version. I've got the digital version on my iPad.
Oh, hello everybody. Oh, what is this?
And I have the sequel from 1996, Another Monster at the End of This Book. Like most sequels, not as good as the original. You know, with the exception of Empire Strikes Back, which is better than the original, but revisits some of the same themes. It's fun to spend some time with the characters, but not quite as good as the original. You get this round. Let's start reading, though.
The Monster at the End of This Book by John Stone. That means that John wrote the words in this book. He's the author.
Illustrated by Michael Smolin.
That means that Michael drew all of the pictures in this book. He's the artist or the illustrator.
Got to get into character for Grover's voice. I think we're good.
And Grover says, "This is a very dull page. What is on the next page?" What did that say?
On the first page, what did that say? Did that say there will be a monster at the end of this book? It did! Oh, I am so scared of monsters!
Shh. Listen, I have an idea. If you do not turn any pages, we will never get to the end of this book. And that's good because there's a monster at the end of this book. So please don't turn the page. Should we turn the page? You turned the page!
You turned the page!
Maybe you do not understand. You see, turning pages will bring us to the end of this book, and there's a monster at the end of this book. But this will stop you from turning pages. See, I'm tying the pages together so you cannot. You turned another page! You don't know what you're doing to me.
No! Stop turning pages!
There! I, Grover, am nailing this page to the next one so you will not be able to turn it, and we will not get any closer to the monster at the end of this book.
Bonk, bam. Bing, clunk, bing, bonk. Wood.
Grover's over here. He's banging all the pages together.
All right! Do you know that every time you turn another page, you not only get us closer to the monster at the end of this book, but you make a terrible mess.
But you make a terrible mess. This will stop you from turning pages. A heavy, thick, solid, strong brick wall. I would just like to see you try to turn this page. Did you know that you are very strong?
Do you know that you are very strong?
Oops.
The next page is the end of this book. And there is a monster at the end of this book.
Oh, I'm so scared. Please don't turn the page. Please, please, please.
Please, please, please.
What? Well, look at that. This is the end of the book, and the only one here is me. I, lovable furry old Grover, am the monster at the end of this book, and you were so scared. Says the end.
I told you and told you there was nothing to be afraid of.
Oh, I'm so embarrassed.
Oh, I am so embarrassed.
The end.
The monster at the end of this book. So that was the monster at the end of this book. And this was my favorite book when I was growing up. I remember reading it when I was 6 or 7 years old, and the way that Grover, the main character, is interacting with the reader, it's like he's breaking down the wall and actively trying to keep you from turning pages and reading the book. It's like a level of interaction between a character and the reader that you don't see very much, and it really emphasizes like the magic that reading is. When you're reading a book, you know, you're really just looking at characters on a page with your eyes, but it's magic. It transports you to places like Mordor, Hogwarts, other worlds, past times, future times. It's really a magical experience reading a book. And this was one of the first books that kind of sucked me in with that. I've got a visitor coming in. Hold on. Wait, what? You just want to say hi to everybody? Wait, what? No. That's actually a really good idea. This is my friend Squeaker, and Squeaker's telling me that teachers like to recommend books to their students and readers a lot. And, you know, I think that's a really good idea. Should we do it? So the book that I'm going to recommend is similar to the monster at the end of this book. It's called The Book with No Pictures. I'm going to put you down, okay? Okay. You can sit over here. Sorry. The Book with No Pictures. Somewhat similar to Monster at the end of this book. There's a little bit of interaction with the reader and the words on the book. Normally at this point, Miss Metz, I would loan you my copy, but global pandemic happening and all, we're unable to do that. So your copy of the book will be arriving through Amazon, they're saying before 9 p.m. Tuesday, which means I guess we'll be doing this again next week. The ball is in your court, as they say. Oh, one more thing. See you next week.